What are those things?
They look like robots.
Battle android troopers! Forward and destroy!
What's up, YouTubers and Joe fans? Welcome back. Today I'm absolutely pleased to bring you the newly released G.I. Joe Classified Battle Android Trooper, or BAT acronym for short. Much to my surprise, I found this at my local Target. Now, I didn't expect to see these things for quite some time. Looking at the box real quick, you can see the nice large window for display purposes. On the bottom right, there's a picture of the BAT, and as I turn the box to the side, that bottom picture spills over to this side, and you can see his arm there shooting at some type of robotic creature in the background. Of course, this is all in red and black. And I tried to figure out what the heck this picture was, and if anybody in the watching could leave a comment below as to what they think he's actually shooting at. Now, if I take it and turn it to the other side, and on this side over here is all those icons that you're supposed to actually go to their website and look up to see all his information, I guess. I didn't bother to do that. I'll probably do that after the video. And this is number 33 of the G.I. Joe Classified line. And real quick, if we look at the back, I'm sure if you have any of these figures, you're absolutely familiar with all this artwork, but a really great picture back here. So feel free to pause the video if you like and investigate this picture any further. I didn't see any new figures on this. Alright, let's get back around to the front real quick. And as I generally say, this is a fantastic way to display this figure if you're a mint and box collector, but we're going to open this up and check him out. Now that we have the Classified BAT out of packaging, I thought it'd be kind of fun to bring in some of the other bats from the collection, just to see where they were inspired and what they drew from. Of course, on the right over here is the 1986 first release O-Ring BAT, and on his immediate left is the 2008 modernized 25th anniversary BAT. And of course that comes with a lot more articulation and is a little bit taller. Now looking at this in comparison, it looks like they drew from the same color palette, which is fantastic. Let's take a look at the 86 BAT for a second and his weapons. And here you can see all the additional attachments that he came with. The same thing with the 25th anniversary. There's his claw on his hand and his flamethrower and laser in his backpack. And of course with the Classified, he has the same type of weapons and attachments. And of course he has some battle damage attachments included. Something that I just noticed as I was looking at these figures, if we look at all their left shoulders here, let me turn them around, you can see the yellow Cobra Insignia that carried through all three of these phases of figures. I thought that was a really nice touch and a really great callback to the original. I'm going to go ahead and get these guys off of camera for a moment and we'll get a better look at this actual Classified BAT. Alright, I think what we're going to do is actually start looking at his accessories first. We'll grab his backpack here. This is a really interesting looking backpack, and you can see all the sculpted in details. Of course, there's holes in the back right there to put his attachments, and there's a hole right there for the third attachment. Some type of canisters on the side, and right there's the peg to peg into the back of the figure. Next, we'll take a look at this fantastic looking claw. Great callback to the original. Unfortunately, it's not articulated at all. All these attachments do have a peg right there, and that's so you can put these into either his left or right forearm. Let's take a look at the laser attachment. And again, a really great callback to the original. It's a nice detail, and this is in a solid gray color, just like his other attachments. And for the third attachment, and one of my favorites, is his flamethrower. Here you can see where the flame would actually light and ignite. And being that these things are in a 6-inch form, you can get a lot more detail on these. Now I'm kind of curious as to how well these will actually port into the backpack, so let's give it a shot. You line up those pegs with those holes, well, they click in there pretty well. Of course there's a attachment underneath here for this accessory. And for the final attachment, the claw, let's port that in this final hole. And these fit in here relatively well and snug, so these things aren't going to fall out at all. Alright, next I think I'll take a look at his gun. Bring this in nice and close. And again, a really great callback to the original, and be it that this is in a larger 6-inch scale. You get a lot more detail on this. Nice trigger, nice rail on top. Put that right there. Now if we take a look at his chest pieces here, if you remember back in the 25th anniversary, these were actually in a clear plastic, but these are solid black. This one over here is undamaged, and of course this one is battle damaged. Now these actually clip on the front of the bat, but I'm going to leave them off right now so we can take a look at all the designs of his actual chest piece. Of course he comes with his battle damaged head, really fantastic looking, nice tight paintwork, all the mechanics on top, and of course that ominous blue eye that's staring at you. Let's go ahead and take a look at the bat next, and I really love the way this thing looks. The open mechanics of the chest is sculpted amazingly. If you can see, there's actually some metallic green paint in the background with some red pistons and yellow gadgets in there. The robotic arms look fantastic. Of course, he has a holster, and they did carry over, like I said earlier, the same color scheme as the original. Turn him to the side here a little bit. There again is that yellow Cobra insignia on his left shoulder. So a really nice look at his mechanical arm. Get around to the back here. And I'll grab this so you can get a better look. You can see some of the mechanics on his upper back. Of course, there's the hole for the backpack. We spin it to this side. You can see there's some type of ammo belt and some type of pouch on his right thigh. Another good look at that mechanical ominous arm. And right back around to the front. It's really exciting that Hasbro listened to the fans and is actually releasing classic figures in this 6-inch form. Next, we're going to go ahead and see what the attachments are going to look like on this figure. I'll show you how that works. Go ahead and remove his arms. Just give these a little bit of a tug and they pop right out. We'll do the same to this hand. And of course, as always, go ahead and heat up your figures before you start messing around with them in this fashion. Let me grab some of these attachments here. I think the first thing we're going to attach, put these right here, is his flamethrower. We'll put that on his right side. And that popped in really easily. Just make sure it's fitting there snug. Alright. I think next, on his left side, we'll grab the claw here. Pop that into place. And just like his wrists, all these attachments are articulated. They do rotate in this fashion. Let's go ahead and see if this flamethrower works. Yeah, that works really well. Alright, looking at the claw, like I said earlier, unfortunately that doesn't open and close at all. Let's take this off. And we'll grab his laser attachment. So where did I put that? Oh, here it is. Alright, let's pop that on. Again, make sure it fits nice and snug. Get him to look down range and shoot this off. Well, being that he's an android, let's hope that he's a better shot than those inept Cobra troopers. Now he also has a head and a chest piece. Let me grab those chest piece covers. Looks like there's a couple of holes right there, and looks like these just pop these right on. Yep, that clips in place. Again, I really wish that was clear so you can see all that internal works. That just pops off. Let's grab the battle damage one. Again, this should just clip into place. Well, try that again. This should just clip into place. There we go. Yeah, this one looks a lot better. At least this has some design on it and it's not flat black. You can see the holes in it and you can see some of the design in the background there. Next, let's try the battle damaged head. This just pops right off. And again, a friendly reminder, I warmed this figure up. Grab the battle damaged head. Boy, this fits on really snug. There we go. And this is what he looks like after going toe-to-toe with the Joes. I really like how they did a callback to the 25th anniversary Bat figure with the battle damage attachments. I think this gives you a lot of variety if you do end up army building these guys. That, of course, is if you're lucky enough to find these in the brick and mortar stores. Or utilize your patience and wait for your pre-orders to show up. let's go ahead and put his regular head back on. See if I can't get this to pop off. There we go. Again, brand new figure, so everything's fitting nice and tight and snug. This will pop back on. There we go. I want to take this chest plate armor off. There we go. I'm wondering if somebody will actually on the aftermarket make a clear chest plate for this. If they do, I'll probably end up buying it. Let's see how his pistol fits in his holster next. Grab this. And this fits in here really snug. There we go. It actually clipped into place. And as you can see, it's not going to fall out. Alright, now I'm curious to see if he can actually hold this pistol. Grab his hand here. We'll pop this one off. Pull this out. Alright, let's put his left hand in here. See if I can't get this out of here. There we go. And again, this is really snug because he's brand new. And wow, that actually went in really easily. You can see his fingers actually on the trigger right there. So he's holding onto that gun perfectly. Another fantastic attachment and callback to the 25th anniversary release. Now wait a minute. Looking at the barrel here, the end of the barrel, they actually drilled a hole to make it look more realistic. Let me grab the backpack next. See how this peg works. That just goes in here. And of course, you can put all his attachments in the backpack. Again, really impressed with the design. And look at this character. And I've always been a huge Bat fan since they released it way back in the 80s. Let me see if I can't get him into just a little bit more interesting pose here and look a little bit more imposing. There we go. Now he's aiming his gun right at the camera. It's time to put this bat through its paces and see what the articulation is all about. So what we'll do, as always, we'll start with his head. Of course, that's on a ball joint, and that moves left and right. No problem at all. And on the base of the neck, there's actually a point of articulation, so we can look down, look up, and a little bit of side-to-side action. Really like how this neck has two different joints. Coming down to the shoulders here, you can see this absolutely fantastic butterfly joint. Put his arms back, put his arms really well forward. Really nice addition on these classified figures. Of course, he has rotation right here, 360 degrees. Now, looking at the base of the shoulder, there's a cut right here, and that rotates around. Coming down to his elbow next. Wow, he has a really tight double jointed bend right there. And yeah, it does look a little wonky, but he is an android. So that's pretty impressive. Straighten this out. All right, come down to his wrists. These rotate around, just like the attachments do. Now, there is a point of articulation. This wrist goes in this direction, up and down. Let's take a look at the other wrist. And yeah, that looks like it moves in the same direction. So we'll straighten his arm out and it goes up and down as well. Now, of course, when you do add on all those accessories he comes with, like I said, they just pop on and they do rotate in the same fashion as the wrist. Like that. Alright, coming down to the torso or midsection. He has an ab crunch. Bends over this far and can lean back this far. Great range of motion there. He does have a waist swivel hidden by the belt. So this goes side to side. Alright, let me straighten him up and we'll move on down to the lower part of his body here. Now, even though he has a strap here, it doesn't hinder any of the articulation. His legs do drop down. Now, I know a lot of people don't like this option because over time I'm afraid that these are going to loosen up. But that gives him a nice high Spartan kick this far.
This is Sparta!
Now what you have to do is reset his legs by clicking them back up into his hip section. He can go back about this far. Now, he has a thigh cut right here, and even with that holster on it, still is flexible enough where it swivels. Of course, he has a double jointed knee bend. spin it around so you can get a better look. Like this. No problem there at all. And we'll come down to his feet. He has a boot cut right there. Again, hidden with the sculpting of the actual figure. Point his toe down. Point his toe up. And both of his feet are on a rocker, so they swivel back and forth. And here you'll see an actual hole for a foot peg, or a figure stand. So he definitely has some really impressive articulation. And I've never really ventured into the 6-inch scale line of action figure collecting. I generally a 3 3/4 or 4-inch collector, outside of like Mezco and things like that, and I cherry pick other lines, but I'm really glad that Hasbro has released these figures, and definitely happy that they're calling back to the original designs and sculpts and paints. This is going to wrap up my very first review of the G.I. Joe Classified line. Of course, we looked at the BAT, or Battle Android Trooper, and I definitely plan on doing some more reviews of this line. As always, I'd like to thank you for watching. If you like what you see, join the community and hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to help a fellow collector out and share your knowledge.